Guess I'll go. So, last week, we, the Fateful Eight, were on our way to confront a mysterious necromancer that had pillaged a logging mill with her skeletons. We were following them. We avoided some of her skeletons the night before. Oh, kitty. Via some illusory wall magic. Then we got to her cave hideout area. We fought / sprinted our way through the chamber. Not entirely. We didn't fight everyone, but we sure as well got through there. We found the necromancer, whose brother had asked us to find her and stop her from making a horrible mistake and, raising more dead and sacrificing her soul and all that. We freed the poor townsperson that she had captured. And the necromancer had a good talk with Floof and cried into her fur, which I can imagine just removes all your problems. Just like a cat that fluffy would just have to make you feel better. And John picked up the phylactery, and that's about the session. That was the whole session.
Yeah, I mean, most of it was combat, so.
Yeah.
There you go. There was some small bits in campsite chat, which
didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. I was going to respond, then I was like, I now don't know how to respond to this with all this postings. Oh well. Anyways, as you all exit the cave, the bodies of the slain skeletons, as you guys bashed in their skulls, I believe, to, stop them doing stuff, you find yourselves in a rather peaceful scene in terms of danger not being anywhere near. Some of you, along with the rescued sacrifice of Alexander Dorn, remain outside, but the rest of you are just exiting the cave. There is an early morning dew upon the leaves and the pines of the trees around you. It is somewhat chilly, nearing the end of October, or as you guys know it, Lamachan. What would you like to do?
Well, I say it away from the Alexander, you said his name was?
Yeah.
And from the necromancer, I would say it quiet enough to Renea that no one else will hear. Was that the whole job we signed up for there? Both of them, actually?
That was the whole job, right, Sage?
That was the job for the Moon Mist Brothers quest.
Okay.
That was it for the missing brother. We might still want to go check out that ruin, see if there's any more werewolves that are diseased lurking around.
I'm always keen for a ruin. Do we want to head back to town first?
With
Alexander and just recoup for a moment?
Yeah, with Alexander, right. I don't want to go into an infested ruin. So yeah, definitely back to town first. Well,
All
after
right.
we finish burying the skeletons.
Ah, yes. Good plan.
All right. Well, that's...
Do we have a shovel?
While that was going on, what are you guys doing?
John fairly missed the part about us burying a bunch of dead, so he's kind of under the assumption that people are just kind of leaving, so just kind of walking along.
That's good, I'm ready to get out of here. his shoulder. Do you any of you actually have shovels?
I know I don't.
I sure as hell don't have a shovel. The one-arm
I
man.
have Ixen.
Is
Ada,
We do
can
have
you can you dragon dig us some graves?
Are we serious? Oh, God.
Don't want them coming back.
I don't think some soil's gonna stop a bunch of undead from climbing their way back out. It's not like they're.
You ever tried to
Wounded
push
by
up 6
pain.
feet of soil?
If you're worried about them coming back, I wouldn't worry about that. Undead of this
Well-
nature tend to only have one chance.
There seem to be more than a little bit of souls lingering around. I'd like to try to put some of them to rest at least.
She'll just nod.
That as well, last rites and all.
Alright. So, does the party choose to remain and say last rites for the dead?
Yes.
Show will.
I guess John will just hang out. He ain't gonna go walk off with all on his lonesome.
Alright.
Paul's
So-
just gonna hang out.
I need one person to be designated as the prayer giver. They must make me a religion check. If you have the ceremony spell, this will aid in this. Otherwise, it is simply religion.
What about gentle repose?
I mean, that'll preserve the body's current state of decay if it's not going to stop any form of, undeath coming.
Honestly, that might just help.
For the duration, the target is protected from decay and can't become undead.
We're trying to rest the spirits, not really worrying about the
Yeah.
undead bit.
Like, it's not going to prevent it. It's a temporary solution. So, like, if you want to bring the body to like a graveyard elsewhere, that would certainly help. But if you're wanting to say last rites where you're currently located, that's not going to do anything other than
I mean,
postpone when I will roll to see if they turn them undead.
Last week, Ada did recommend we go to the graveyard where most of the bodies came from to put them back.
That is a good idea. John,
Yes, sir.
would you mind if we carried some skeletons in your carriage?
See, this is a whole waste of time here, and I can't summon the carriage here. There's nowhere for that much wood, steel, and horse to make it through these trees. I'm sorry to say, but
Only the first skeletons.
it's probably best if we just let them sit here.
Hmm. Well,
Dead's dead.
Paul,
I ain't worried about these things coming back.
you're the one that can see the ghosts.
That is correct.
What's the word? Your call.
What is the word?
The ghosts are still in the area. They are floating around, seemingly lost. They are aware of your presence, as there every now and then there's a few who kind of float next to you. They don't make any sound, though. It seems the main focus point for them was Tiana's brother, which is how they had enough power to do what they did. At this point, they're more of just a visual presence within the area for those who can see into the ethereal.
They're just floating around, not really doing much.
All right.
I still think it would be best to lay them to rest in the graveyard.
Perhaps when we get back to the town, we can go to the church and let them know that there are bodies out here in need of putting to rest.
Well,
We're here now. We have 2 clerics that can do this.
And how many bodies are there? They're just like 20 at most, and they're all skeletal. That's really not that much weight carry. Well, for someone who's not me, anyway.
Could we put them into a bag of holding? It's not like they need to breathe.
I mean,
Hey, Sage, how many skeleton bodies can we fit in a bag of holding?
Oh my god. Sean just kind of sits down at the cliffside,
Well-
just pinching the.
You'll hit the weight
Under the
limit
orb.
before you hit the volume limit because the density of the bag of holding is like you'd have to fill it full of something lighter than styrofoam to hit the volume limit before you hit the weight limit.
Fill it full of oxygen.
I mean, like, if you were to, I don't know, smash the bones into dust, they wouldn't take up that much space.
My answer to your question on bag of holding would depend on what type of bag of holding do you have and what is in your bag of holding.
I don't really have much of anything in mind, do I?
I don't think
Oh,
I
wait,
have
no, I
anything in
actually have a
mind.
lot.
I don't believe I have anything in mind.
Well, if your bag of holding is empty, what type of bag is it?
I'm not sure.
It'd probably just be level 1 because it was a starting bag of holding.
So type 1, do you guys have that on your loot sheet already, or do I have to go and find that information?
That's
Actually,
just the standard 500 cubic feet. Or 500 cubic. 500 pounds, 64 cubic.
let's see here. You guys are looking at that, and you are doing the shoop boop 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 boop. So we are looking at this. Right. If it's just bones, as Renea said, you're definitely not gonna have to worry about the circumference of the bag holding or like the spatial limit in it. You're just looking at the weight, and that will vary based upon the size of the creature and all that other factors. But effectively, on average, you could store. Let me just make sure I have the right value on this bag holding's carry capacity, because I might have the wrong value. Just making sure. Yeah, I thought so. You can carry about. It's the base value of that, which means per body would be. Little under 25 bodies.
Definitely.
And there are 20, correct?
Definitely.
I was just guesstimating how many skeletons are there.
Well, let's see. On your area, you guys have a number of skeletons. Oh, I don't know. I'm just looking at the map. I have the thing in my notes. There we go. Much simpler.
Right,
Just look at
it was
notes.
you, huh? It was you, huh? Yeah, it was you. What?
25 skeletons is too much to bring in a bag of holding. Because the average skeleton weighs about 25 pounds. So
That's why I
20
said just under 25.
And here, so we split it between 2 bags of holding. Done.
Yeah, on
All
this
right, fair
map,
enough.
you guys are looking at a total of about 16, 17 skeletons.
Easy.
Yeah, 17 times 25 fits.
So there's our transport method.
All right. Let's get them piled up.
All right. Moving throughout the cavern, gathering up the bones and placing within Floofster's fur. I'm assuming that's what you mean by bag of holding, unless you actually have a bag of holding in your fur.
They also have a bag of holding.
Well, in your fur or in the bag of holding, either way.
Let's go with the bag of holding.
Definitely the bag of holding.
Floof just drops 20 skeletons out of her just fucking.
Okay, I
Hold
wonder
on,
what
gotta
happened.
Do
shake.
you get to make Do you get to make intimidation rolls with extra advantage if you do that?
I think that's just an automatic success against most people. Just
I
pulling
just
an
look at them and
entire
say, better not drop a bunch of skeletons.
Oh yes, another one to add to my collection. Drops 20 skeletons.
just drops 12 skeletons. Shit.
All right. So,
So Fluke could just belly flop onto the pile of skeletons and just absorb them.
I mean, Floof's pretty crazy.
Oh
Don't mess
my
with her.
God.
She's got fur.
Oh my
She's
God.
got.
I am so fluffy, you're gonna die.
All right. So, on the world map, this is where you guys are at here, within the Moon Mist Cavern. I didn't make it visible. There you go. Now it's visible. You guys are wanting to head to the graveyard, correct?
Yes, she said there was a graveyard nearby where she got most of the bodies.
All right. Let's see here. DMV. Let me go find that graveyard. All right. Should be right there. Yep. All right. Cool. All right. So you guys just have to travel a little to the south, and you're good to go. Are you ready to travel?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Slow, medium, or fast pace?
I do believe medium.
Yes,
Sure.
medium.
Medium is your deciding factor. All right. Very good, very good. Medium pace. Unfortunately, you guys are deep within the woods, so you cannot use a carriage in this point in time, so you will be walking. What is the fastest speed, or the slowest speed of the party?
I've got 30.
30.
30.
I'm pretty sure everyone has 30 or above, unless the NPCs have lower.
No, they get 30. All right.
Perfect.
Let's see here. That means you guys are looking at not too far of travel, actually. Crossing the river. Oh, I need a. Do you have the? Your favorite terrain is forest, right, JC? You are muted if you're talking.
Yes, yes it is.
So I do get the benefit of ignoring difficult terrain on my tracker, so that's good. And normal pace, so 1.5 per hour. Excellent. Okay. Luckily, you have a guide, so you can just literally just go in the direction you need to go. But you still have to travel there. So
Thought she said it was close. Jeez.
it's close.
That's pretty close in like considering.
I mean, it's not like way up here.
I was expecting like 1,000 feet away type
Oh, no,
deal.
no.
Not
Casual stroll to the cemetery.
How far away could it be? 1,000 feet?
I mean, when you say close by, that's kind of what I imagine. Within 1,000.
When I said close by, I meant within the vicinity. So within like a hex or two. But yes, traveling for 4 hours. Unfortunately, that was exactly 4 hours to get you here, so I need to roll a encounter check.
What if you didn't and you just like hand waved it this time?
See, you say that.
And you just rolled a null encounter?
I did. I am checking to see if I have a boss in this thing, though.
No,
I
you don't.
Want to use any VP?
No, you don't.
I don't. All right. Well, actually, I do, but it's not. It's not active. So, anyways, traveling for 4 hours, your travel goes by relatively uneventful. There's a small little river crossing, pretty much the way you were going, which is just fine because you're being guided this way. The forest trail itself seems to be a hunting trail moving through the woods with relative ease. Eventually you reach upon a bit more of a higher up sloped area next to the river, but not like within sight. And you can see the telltale signs of structures and a iron fence surrounding a graveyard. So, for you guys, as you begin to travel up the road up through the cliff faces, you guys can immediately make me perception checks.
Oh, that's fun.
Perception.
Perception checks, you say.
Perception. Yes, indeed.
I am going to guess I do not have my food token anymore after the
is
4 hours
correct.
of walking.
That is correct.
So I still have 26 though.
4.
8.
13.
17.
You were so close to a 12.
Me?
That's just 4, 8, 12. It would have been.
Oh,
pattern.
okay.
It was a pattern.
And then we also would have almost had 16.
Yep.
We're failures.
Yep. Yours are all failures. How could you do this?
Thanks, Sage.
Well,
All right. Anything higher than that?
I think my and Minerva's 17 is the highest,
Yep. Looks-
except for possibly Ada.
Except for Ada's passive. All right. What was Paul's? That's the most important of them.
That was a 4.
Well,
What,
Paul
why?
is blind, so
Oh, because
I just saw a really hot ghost.
Yep.
I just got distracted.
super distracted.
there we
You
go.
saw a spinning image of Thok in one of the ghosts.
Doc, you're dead. Oh, wait.
Okay, wait, hold on. False
All
alarm.
right. Loading up the map for you guys for stream purposes. As you guys arrive into the area here, Control H, Control F and E. There we go. Player map should be, yep. Okay, cool. Immediately, those who are keener-eyed, unfortunately that is just Ada at this point in time, would notice that the graveyard itself, which is true for the rest of this forest, is covered in thick mist, which is obstructing one's view. It is difficult to see beyond about 30-60 feet, depending on how thick the misted area is. However, with Ada's keen eye, they notice that the graveyard itself is filled. Not with anything outwardly hostile looking, but there are various lights flickering in and out throughout the graveyard. Of blues, reds, yellows, purples, greens, of all different sorts of colors, just flashing in and out of existence. It is still early-ish in the day. It is midday at this point, so you guys, still bright outside. The sun's directly overhead.
Would you say it's high
12
noon?
o'clock?
I would say it is.
12 o'clock.
I would say that it is high 11. It's 11 a.m.
Damn it!
It was almost there.
I'm not at my strongest.
Nope. No, you're not. You're rootin' tootin', cowboy shooting. It ain't strongest yet. But
Should have made that a part of my origin. I'm physically stronger at fucking noon.
that would've been funny. But yeah. Ada, you're the one who noticed the strange lights within the graveyard itself. You can see that the graveyard does seem to suffer some damage within the wall. Most of the iron bars atop the stone base have been broken down. There are a few still lingering about, but the graveyard itself doesn't seem to have any gateway. It seems the gate that was or would have been placed here in the entryway is either lost, stolen, something happened to it. It's not there anymore. Assumedly, it would be metal because you can see the telltale traces of iron hinge work within the stone on either side.
Man,
But
can't have shit in Calabash.
Can't. Fuckers stole the cemetery gate. Can't have
Yep.
shit in Galbash.
what you can see, which is interesting though, is there is a large reptilian statue upon a stone dais at the far end. The dais itself is somewhat destroyed. You can see some of the stonework is eroded away and seemingly as if it were attacked by something heavy. As you can see, there's signs of like rubble upon it as well. Above that, though, the reptilian creature seems to have 2 heads, although both are cut off. It is also a winged creature.
Like the heads, like the statue was damaged, heads are cut off, or the
Yes.
statue was made without heads?
The statue's was damaged. As you can see, the neck, which would have brought into the head itself, seems to be pretty clean cut on both heads. All right. here we are. This is the place. See, I don't
Good.
like this. I would prefer if we just went home, but you know, I'll be here.
It'll be fine.
And I pat her on the back and just say, "It's okay. We'll get to this." And just start grabbing skeletons out and be like, "All right, where's this one go?"
Oh, that
Might
one's in
wanna-
the backmost of the graveyard, near the mausoleums. Most of them are
Well-
from the entryway, though.
It's been a while since I've been in a
I just start
graveyard. I'm gonna
dumping
go
out
wander
the
around.
bones and be like, "All right, let's see where these go."
All right,
Start trying to like match them together, like.
excellent. So 3 of them belong to the graves
Ikea.
here, here, and here. All the other ones belong to the graves within the main graveyard itself. Exact positioning doesn't really matter. In terms of, I didn't actually have a position chosen for them, so you can just choose a grave.
Well, I guess we go about burying the bones.
Well, as you start gathering the bones, John has already made their way into the graveyard, and as you step within the confines of the
Okay.
graveyard's vicinity, the small lights begin to flicker on and off faster, begin floating towards you, swirling.
John, there's some ghosts in there. I don't think they're happy. You might want to leave for a moment.
You are that far. You are a grand total of 65 feet away, and John has hearing trouble.
She's yelling. She knows.
That's fair.
Does she know, though? With that
Yeah,
high of a
she
passive
has hearing
perception?
problem.
With that high of a passive perception.
Yeah, she noticed that John doesn't like listening to her, so she yelled at him.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
And so John can see the little lights.
Yeah, everyone can see the lights.
Oh, okay.
At
If
this
you get
point,
possessed, I'm not helping you.
your distraction, Paul, is gone. You can use your passive perception. You can notice the lights now too,
Okay, cool.
as they have been pointed out.
That's
in
a fair
addition to
assessment
that,
there.
you can see that the lights themselves aren't ghosts.
Okay.
They don't seem to have any. This is for Paul specifically. They don't seem to have any bodies to them or any like signs that they would be spectral forms of the previously living. That said, there are specters walking through the graveyard, seemingly just kind of like in a trance, going about the place. A few of them were actually trying to tend to the stones here, as if they were perhaps once its a gravekeeper. But
Are
they
they
don't seem
like
to notice any of you guys.
Are they like the wisps that we saw earlier?
So
They are not exactly wisps. They're more of just like people that are somewhat spectral. Like they have a blue spectral aura to them. They are translucent. They are somewhat smoky as they float around, seemingly just doing their tasks within the graveyard or just like kind of flying around through here. A few of them are kneeling at some of the gravestones. A few of them seem to wash the stonework here and further beyond, and seems some are trying to repair the fence here, but like they're not doing anything. It looks like in the spectral realm that they are maintaining the graveyard, but none of them are actively affecting the physical world. As for John, the spirits around you, the little lights. I probably shouldn't say spirits because they're not actually spirits, but the lights around you, they begin to float and twist with ever faster speed, forming what appears to be the shape of a dagger.
okay.
They then shift into the shape of a sun.
Wait, hold on. My fear is now gone.
They then shift into the shape of a door.
Does
Does the door just stay?
The door remains currently. As Ada enters into the graveyard, some more of lights will approach Ada and Ixen and form the same shapes: dagger, sun, door.
John will open the door.
Well,
If that's like a physical thing.
as you
Yeah,
begin to
Ada.
touch towards the wisps, they do fly away from you. So you do not actively touch the door unless you want to try to pursue.
I was muted when I was trying to talk.
You are
Ada
yes.
and Ixen grab some skeletons and go in to go bury them.
All right.
Renea will follow with
I'm gonna roll me a
more
wisdom
skeletons.
check. High is John's not
Where did I
curious enough to
Minerva?
do this probably very dumb thing. Low, he's going to pursue. Okay. Yeah, no, he's Will?
There's Minerva. Okay. I was like, why is Minerva not on this map?
Did you misplace my familiar sage?
No, they were
Well-
just deeper into the previous map's cave.
The little Minervas have a fun little message for us. Knife Sun Door, if that means anything to any of y'all.
Can I make any kind of
He's gonna
anything
keep
check?
kind of enjoying his wander through the graves.
You can make me a history or a religion.
Ooh, I'm good at history.
What if it's nice to meet you? You made our day brighter. Now please leave.
The wisp will form the face of a frowny face.
I guarantee you it's not that. I
Ah.
don't make days brighter.
12.
They will then form the depiction of a face that is now blowing a raspberry at you.
You know, if you can make faces, you could spell into like actual letters.
Okay.
They look at each other. You can tell they don't actually have faces, but they look towards each other. They look back at you. And then they just kind of like bob.
They speak in emojis. Is that sun supposed to be high noon?
Let's see here how they would respond to that. They will... No, they wouldn't know what that symbol means.
Okay.
They would take on the shape of a skull.
Are you
Let 'em
harmed by
know.
the daylight?
They would take on the shape of a skull.
Okay.
Are we going to be harmed by the daylight?
They will take
If
on
we
the
leave.
shape of a... If you leave, they'll take on the shape of a skull, and then they'll kind of like make it wavy.
Maybe.
Are you Death Eaters?
Sage, has Renea ever heard of so there's like the undead version of will-o-wisps, and there is in some versions of D&D a Fey version of will-o-wisps. Has she ever heard of like the Fey equivalent of a wisp?
Roll me nature.
I was just about to ask if I could also roll something to see if, for whatever reason, John would know what the heck these things are.
Yeah, you roll me nature.
10.
16.
I mean, there have been tales, like childhood tales, which is why you would hit the DC with a 10, Renea. You would also hit the DC with a 15 or higher for John, since you're not from here. So you both succeed. You would have heard tales from like wives' tales of telling their children not to go out at night, not to follow lights, things like that, or else the wisps will get you. It's kind of like a tale to keep your children from sticking with their parents, basically, when they're traveling out in the woods, or to not sneak off at night. You believe these tales specifically are some form of like fae or the like that might trick wary travelers. That's all you really know. That you don't know too much about their actual nature or anything like that. You just know about the common folklore.
Given the fact that they seem more playful and mischievous than hostile, I think they might be Fey wisps.
That's what I was thinking.
Lurk in the woods, lead travelers astray because they find it entertaining.
But they're playing charades.
Well, so
make
quite
pictures
possibly
because I
they're
find
just
it
out here
entertaining.
trying to confuse us
All right.
for a giggle.
As you begin to bury some of the dead bones, Ada, since you're at one of the graveyards there, the wisps form the symbol of a sun. And then they form the symbol of a dagger, and then a door.
Look, I'm not good at riddles. Paul, get in here, please.
Fine.
No one likes my
Does-
riddles. Fine.
If you want
Man.
help, can you
Son.
show me where, and I'll hold up the skeleton I'm holding. Can you tell me where he's supposed to go?
The wisp will form a line, and will point to this graveyard.
Cool. And Ada's just gonna, like, start asking them to help her show where they're buried.
They will form a line, and a line, and a line, until eventually all the basic undeads are given. You already know the
Son.
locations of the non.
Knife door.
Yeah, so
Do we
Ada's
have-
gonna be doing that for a while.
Knife sun door, or I guess in Ada's
Knife
case,
sun
sun
door.
knife door.
Does sun mean yes?
Some tells me skull means no. Sun might mean yes.
They make the symbol of a smiling face.
Okay.
And then they make a symbol of a frowning face. And then they make a symbol of a blank face.
I ain't sure
Now
if I
you're
like
just
you
being
yet.
obtuse.
So, we got a knife, a sun, and a door. When Ada placed one of the dead at this grave here, he just kind of like motions at it with his foot. They gave him a sun, then the knife, then the door. So maybe they want us to return the dead here?
If
Again,
they're
they could
actually-
also just be wanting to have a little bit of a laugh.
Floof is gonna go over and look at the door. Is there any doors that are around here that look like the same door?
You're a little too far to notice anything of that sort. As you're running up the path, though, you do notice that there are plenty of mausoleums up this way. It's possible they could have the same depiction. The doors are not
Alright.
visible for your current position, though.
I'm
Alright.
curious.
I'm gonna grab one of the skeletons that need to be taken to the mausoleum and just start running up over there looking for a door.
All right. As you get to this position here, you notice that there are doors here. You can't quite see this one's doors. It's on the northern edge. That one's there. That one's there. You can also see a door here. That one's a little
I'm
out of
going
view.
to-
So just these three, and then these two.
I'm going to look for one that looks like the door that they were making an image of.
All right. What you can see. Never mind. You passed perception's horrible. You can roll me an active perception check to start looking around. The skeleton that you're currently holding belongs to this gravestone. Or this tomb, as more appropriate.
I know nothing.
Now, ma'am, did you have to pick skeletons from just such random spots? Couldn't have just grabbed them from a line?
Well, it was an abandoned graveyard. It was the best place to avoid notice, or to avoid harming anyone. At least at first.
Yeah, fair enough.
Renea's gonna send Minerva down to keep an eye on the brother,
All right.
or keep an eye out for him alongside Desho,
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
as she continues to help Ada bury the skeletons in the lower portion of the graveyard.
Well, unfortunately for Flooster, looking around the upper graveyard, none of these doors within an area seem to have the symbol you're looking for. They all seem to be rather old, worn stone doors, no real symbology upon them.
Alright, then I'm gonna dump that skeleton that I had in my arms on the grave that it needs to go to.
All right.
And then we'll start wandering back.
Very good, very good. Yeah. You guys aren't in danger, so when you guys You guys can complete the burying of the skeletons without issue. So
I'm just trying to think about that riddle. Maybe the sun, a knife, and a door. Maybe we have to break open a door to let light in.
Or
These
the door is
giant
marked by the symbol of a
skulls?
knife or a sun.
Sage.
yeah,
These giant skulls.
those are giant skulls.
Oh, cool.
Giant skulls made of bone or giant skulls made of stone?
Either is cool.
Well,
Both cool,
John,
very
could you
different
roll me a
implications.
nature check to
Good going,
determine that. This seems to be some strange sundial. You don't actually know what symbols are on it because you're not next to it, but it does seem to be a sundial.
10 on that, and John is walking over to the sundial. He's curious of the big skulls and such.
Looking at the sundial, it does seem to have some strange symbology upon it. There's a symbol of a sun. This one is of a... Let's see here.
If there's a sun, a dagger, and a door...
There doesn't seem to be a door. There's a sun. There is an arrowhead, a hand, a... Let's go to my notes. 1 second. DM notes.
A spell
Snowflake.
circle, a leaf, a bowl, maybe? A swirly?
No,
Let's ask
not
the
a
ghost.
swirly.
All right,
Korok seed?
I got this. So
Just ask the ghost what the combination is.
Oh, hey! Uh-huh. Well, since there is a sun, and I know you're doing labels, so no rush, but where's the sun at the time? Where's it pointing to? Rune, okay.
it's supposed to have another word to it. 1 second. Where is the other word?
Brand. Marking.
There we go.
Shaw's Arcane. Aha, okay. A rose, okay. So is it like a rose o'clock?
You can also see there are plenty of runic symbols on the outer edges of the device here. All of them seem to be relating towards the time of day.
I can't tell that because right here it says that I'm a Pisces.
Unfortunately, you do not know if the skull is bone or stone without touching it and giving a bit more detailed look, so investigation.
Yeah, I'm good. So where is the sun hitting the sundial, or is it able to with all the fog?
The sun is hitting the sundial. This area in the
Oh,
center
cool.
doesn't seem to be too fogged up. The sun is directly overhead, so it's, hitting
Okay.
midday. It's giving you the general time of day, which is about 11:15, 11:20ish,
Fancy.
per the outer rim symbols.
Wonderful.
Right. Looking at your pad. Never mind. Your passive perception's 3.
Yeah, no, I don't have a passive perception. I have one eye.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens.
You know. Well, there's a sun here. Though no dagger or no door. You know what? I'll hit you with the active perception. After seeing the sun on the sundial, it's like, okay, hold on. That's a symbol that we've been told multiple times now. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's just a dumb
Yeah,
sun.
you don't really notice anything of note.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that gets
Can I make an intelligence check to help with the riddle? Because I am not as smart as Paul is.
Sure.
We are rolling for
Do you
clue.
have riddle proficiency?
Well,
No,
feel
I
like
do not,
personally
but-
figured something
Sage is
out,
about
but
to
at the
hit us
same time,
with
I don't
that
think
riddle
he has.
proficiency.
But I did roll a 20 total.
You said something, Floofster?
I feel like I, as a player, have kind of figured something out here, but I don't think that Bloof is that smart.
Would
um,
you like to give it a go before I
is
tell results for Paul?
is it? Yes. Is that sun going to be like a time, or like maybe that's the time something has to happen, something has to go down. But I'm gonna see if Floof knows that.
Perhaps.
We're just past sun o'clock, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just past sun o'clock.
With your 20, thinking on the riddle, as you put it, you believe that they're saying that they want you to search for the doors that have these symbols, or perhaps the door that has those two symbols.
Okay.
There's a specific place within this graveyard that has it. It's not so much a what do these three things make or something like that. It's go looking.
Alrighty. Paul's gonna move over to here and start investigating these tombs or whatever they are.
That's what I thought it was. A
Give me
door
investigation.
marked with the sun or knife.
I think
Ada is gonna go eat another token then.
Snack break.
All right.
Snack break.
Does
Just
Ada
much
just
long
eat
as they look
carrots?
around.
Is that what gets her passive perception so high? She's just eating carrots, like
Yeah,
shoveling them down.
just a nice tier 1 token, and burns it in her hand as she is fire elf.
Mhm.
Burns part of it for Hestia as they're walking around.
Mhm.
John is at this point just wandering about. Taking
So,
in the odd beauty.
A Sage 31 passive perception
All right. So,
as they're walking around.
as you're walking around the graveyard, where are you walking around?
Well, I would have done that after I was done burying everything and joining everyone up here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, are we done with burying the bodies by
Yeah,
now?
you guys can be done whenever you want to be done. It wasn't a very long process because most of these graves, the soil itself is pretty loose, and the graves weren't particularly.
Mix in with 50-foot
Yeah,
burrow speed.
yeah. You got burrow speed dragon. You're burying bones. It's not too much of an issue. Now, saying
And-
last rites, that would require the appropriate checks, but yes, the bodies are buried.
Yeah, I was gonna do it on the way out now.
I figured. But yes, for Ada, as you were looking around the area, you would notice that there is, up in the northern area here, there is the symbol of a dagger on this mausoleum's door, specifically. It is a relatively small dagger. On the western edge, you would see that there is a symbol of a sun. On this southwestern mausoleum, which is also of somewhat small size, and as you are searching through the core of the graveyard, within the grand mausoleum at the northern end, upon its double door, there is a sun and a dagger. Of moderate size.
Do we even want to start messing with this? Ada asks the group.
Well, it's
A quick
Maybe.
out of character question. Do the sun and the dagger on the main mausoleum match the sides that they are on in the other outer mausoleums?
Yeah.
Yeah, daggers on the right, suns on the left.
Oh, I was away from the screen. Couldn't see. Renea will speak up to Ada's mark. Well, if they are Fae, it's entirely possible this is their idea of a prank, which some of the Fae's pranks are less kind than others.
Ada's gonna incite the wisps.
Well, you can also perceive the wisps as they are floating around Renea's head as she said that. making bunny ears above her head. Like literal bunny ears, but in, the form of lights.
Well,
Can Floof see that?
Yeah.
She laughs at her.
Disho laughs as well.
I
Here's
personally
that
don't
good
follow
hearty
like
cuddle.
scavenging a graveyard more than we have to.
Renee is going to approach the main tomb, and is there that pavilion-like thing in the center and the main tomb, is there like a name of who it belongs to on either of those two?
You would
For
need to
clarity,
get a closer look. So investigation.
Ada has not pointed out where the other tombs are. So unless someone else wants to go find the dagger and sun tomb,
I'm going to
Ada did
use
not point out
some
where they are yet.
guidance. 20.
All right. Looking over the doorways of the central tomb and the northern tomb. Let's see here. Go to my notes. The southern tomb depicts the name of one Lord. One second. Okay. One Lord Marcus Harrow. The northern tomb depicts the name of. What's with the chuckles?
Ignore me.
Okay. The northern tomb has the name of. Let's see here. It was King, right? That was your title? King, and then the name is cut out. Just says King, but you can see that there's room for more words. It's just chipped away or eroded away with time, something like that.
Does the dragon's-esque statue at the entrance, or Harrow, or this tomb of the nameless king ring any bells in any legends Renea has heard?
Say again?
So between the dragon statue, Marcus Harrow, and the nameless king, do any of those ring any bells with legends or anything with Renea?
Roll me history check.
I'm going to re-roll that with inspiration.
All right.
12.
Unfortunately, you don't remember any kings from this region of the country. At least no kings that would be from graveyard this old. I mean, it's possible that they were some of the original kingdoms before Kalbesh became united. This could be one of the graveyards of one of their kings, but you're not quite sure.
And the dragon creature Harrow?
What about them?
Do they ring any bells?
The 12? Well, for Harrow, the village we're just in is named Harrow, based off of the town's founder. So that rings a bell right there. The dragon creature, that would be a nature check, not a history.
My modifier is the same. Do you want me to roll again or use the 12?
Roll again.
14.
There have been tales of multi-headed draconic-like creatures, but you don't quite know anything else about that. You just know that there have been some tales spun about them.
No legendary creature of that sort?
Unfortunately, until you gain lore or spend more time in like adventurer areas. There wasn't really a lot of adventurers within your hometown, so not really a lot of tales you would have heard about this. The closest thing you would have heard of like some adventurers speaking about the beast within your lake, but that didn't have multi-heads, so.
Did the statue of Pero in the town, did it have like the date of the town's founding on it?
I believe it was kind of shipped away. Let me go back to that map. DM view, Harrow. Do I have it listed on the statue? Yeah, the information's not there. No chippy chips for you.
So Floof would like to go over to those headless statues. She's going to try and climb up them and put her head on top. Say, look at babies!
Become one.
How heavy is Floof?
I think like 160 pounds?
Alright. How are you climbing up on it?
With my claws.
But how are you climbing up on it?
Probably not safely. She's probably gonna run over to it and try and find places to climb up it like a tree, and if that doesn't work, then just dig into it with her claws and climb up.
Alright, roll me an acrobatics or athletics. Alright, so rushing over to the southernmost statue with the missing heads, not really caring, a little bit reckless here, you jump forward, latching onto it with your claws and begin scuttling your way up it. Unfortunately, some of the pieces of the stonework here are fairly light, and your heft upon them as you begin to pull yourself up does cause parts of the wings to chip and fall, crashing to the ground. Whichever side you were climbing on, focusing, that wing is now effectively destroyed. But you do eventually get to the top of it. The wisps make a frowny face as you do this.
Floofster, I appreciate the joke, I really do, but I can't condone you destroying a ruined, abandoned graveyard.
Floof kind of sticks out her tongue and climbs back down.
Renee will ask the NPCs through Minerva, how old is your town of Harrow?
I don't rightly know, to be honest. Couple hundred years, maybe? I think. I'm more of just chop wood, to be honest.
Well, shame.
What does
She is currently looking out towards the graveyard itself, not really paying attention to Minerva.
okay. How old is Kalbesh?
Let's see here. Kalbesh, you want to know about Kalbesh?
Wasn't it like only 200 years old or something?
Something like
Or is
that.
it older than that?
Gonna give you that information. 1 second. Let's see. Right to the calendar map now. Kalbush itself is about, at least according to your knowledge, if you want more detailed information, is at least 500 years old.
Were there any wars with the Fae, or
Oh yes, yeah, 100%.
okay?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are coming out of a war with the elves, which employed the Fae a lot, so you would know that as just being a native.
Was there a war with the Fae around Kalbesh's founding?
That would be history check.
Well, if Renee doesn't know, she's gonna ask Paul, because she knows that Paul should know.
You have
6.
no idea.
Hey, Paul, was there a war with the Fae around Kalbesh's founding?
I answer whether or not there was a war
Give
with
me
the Fae
history
around
check.
Calves's fan. Okay.
Don't roll an 11, please.
26.
Oh, you're rolling map tools, okay. 26 indeed. Okay. Yes, in fact, you would know exactly, at least the story that the noble families are aware of. Whether this is true or not, no one really knows because of how long ago it was. You know that the founding was about 1,300 years ago, give or take a couple years. So about 1,300 AD.
Okay.
In terms of what happened, the founding of Kalbesh happened when the human tribes within the region rebelled against the elven masters and began taking the land for themselves, pushing back the elves out of Kalbesh's valley and, basically across the mountains for the sun elves and to the northeast for the moon elves.
Okie dokie.
Some were pushed to the sea, and those ones are said to have become some of the merfolk within the region. But no one really knows what happened to those ones. People assume they died.
Okay.
But
I will-
essentially, yes, there was definitely a war with the Fae, as the elves at that time were pretty much purely Fae worshippers. So they followed the summer and the winter courts, depending on if they were sun or moon elves. And for most part, they were winter courts, which tended to be more of the aggressive tricksters and vile, evil Fae. So, at least according to the humans' history, which is the one you would have, they were definitely under a despotic government and overthrew it.
Okay.
I'm guessing Paul relays that information to her.
I will.
So follow-up questions. One, does this graveyard look a millennium old, or is it much newer than that?
It looks fucking old. How old you would? I mean, you're not a dwarf, so you don't have stone cutting to figure that out. Yeah, you would need to be a dwarf to find that information out, unfortunately.
I'm not a
Unless,
dwarf, but
yeah,
Once
Can an
again,
archaeologist
Ogi
find out?
existed still.
archaeologists could, yeah, if you would roll a pretty decent investigation check.
Ada's gonna investigate the sun tomb.
When she asks Paul how old it is and he says, I have no idea, she's going to ask to show if he can figure out how old this place is.
I rolled an 8.
You have no idea.
I
There
am
doesn't seem to
rolling
be
so poorly
any
tonight.
signs within the tombs or anything like that that depicts a year beyond a couple hundred. So
Last follow-up question before I do some thinking. There's reliefs on the graves. Are they elves or humans?
the graves here are humans, although there do seem to be a few foreign names within them. Not fully elf, but some could be conceived as elvish in nature.
Okay, so definitely a graveyard formed after the humans came to kind of be in this place.
As for Ada, you need to roll me investigation since you're investigating the sun tomb.
Investigation. I don't have a bonus, I think.
Nice.
That's my
Nice.
second one on investigation today.
So, yeah, there's like no way you're gonna get inside that. The stone door is smooth, solid. There's barely a crack in between the door frame itself and the wall that holds the door. Nothing weird about the sun. It's just this, symbol of sun carved into the stone, or perhaps pushed out slightly, but it's... So I guess it would be the door is carved around the sun symbol. Like would be the more appropriate way to describe that. But you know,
He
it's just
whistles for
stone.
Ixon.
I would like to try the same thing on the dagger door.
Excellent investigation.
I don't have augury
Have you
prepped.
found
Otherwise,
the
I could
dagger door is
ask.
the question.
Yeah.
Because Ada did not point out where those were.
All right.
Well, I wish you had mentioned that.
They did mention.
I did.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, I wish I had listened. Well then,
Well,
I guess we're...
With a 20, as you begin to search the area, you notice there's a strange dagger symbol upon this mausoleum.
Oh, cool.
Aha!
With your natural
Oh.
20 investigation.
Hey, sick.
How? I am a trained archaeologist, and this guy has one eyeball.
John just kind of on his blind side too. Like he's walking up northward and
In
just
the
goes
mist.
in the mist. Goes, oh hey.
Hi.
All right, Ixon. As Ixon is looking over the mausoleum of the sun, they notice what you did not notice. The sun itself can be turned clockwise or counterclockwise. You also believe it can be pushed inward.
Combination lock. Great.
Other than that, you don't believe there's any way to open the sun itself.
The duality
That-
of man held in my own two hands.
Yeah, it's totally a solid stone door. There's no way through unless you want to grab a pickaxe and start hacking.
The duality of man has been held in my own two hands.
Hey, the show.
Hmm.
You're up.
Oh, wonderful. Can Mason roll well once?
Renee is gonna
if-
ask the NPCs to, maybe come up closer to the rest of the group.
Ada's gonna give him guidance and say, "Hey, so you can turn the dials to open this door. It seems looks like some type of combination lock. You might want to. This seems more up your alley. I'm gonna just be behind the statue. Yes. Okay. Have fun.
All right.
If it's picking a lock, maybe I can offer the help action in figuring out how to pick that lock there.
All right.
Oh, I'm
Wow.
over there.
While y'all are over there doing big brain shit, I thought of big brain shit too.
Oh,
Picking
Finally.
a dimension door inside.
Nope, I'm gonna use a spell I've had for the entirety of this campaign and have never used. Sage, does it look like there are cracks that lead into it?
Oh, it's bigger.
Yes.
I cast Gaseous 4.
I mean,
Alright.
my plan was to send Minerva into the main
Oh.
tomb.
Paul,
A
as you
spell I've held for the rest of this goddamn...
as you move up this way, suddenly, John begins waving his arms and turns into a cloud of smoke.
Hey, it's more of like taking a drag from a cigar and just kind of fading into the cigar. But hey,
You know,
hey, you know.
potato, potato.
Hey, you know.
Huh, you learn something new every day.
All right.
Well,
I
back
think
to work.
these mausoleums have interiors. Let me go check that out real quick.
Oh, cool. I'll stand outside then for a second. But I have
Okay.
had this spell since day one of having John. Finally.
So it needs to be east, just east.
okay.
There we go. This one.
Oh my god.
24.
Oh, look, they do have interiors.
Oh.
I rolled a 24 for figuring out the sundial thing, or the door that we're at.
All right. And that investigation.
Yep.
All right. Where's
Oh,
your roll?
that was my investigation.
Oh, I see. It's the 17, 14 plus 6. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. 24. All right. I was like, I don't see a 24 in the chat anywhere. All right, with a 24, looking over the mausoleum here with the sun that seems to be able to be maneuvered in left, right, or pushing inwards. Putting your ear up against the mausoleum and beginning to listen, like you would with a safe's combination lock, you begin to turn and hear ticking sounds. Eventually, you hear a click. When you hear that, you believe it is time to press inward.
I do so.
Doing so, the mausoleum begins to make a grinding sound as the Sun Diaz pushes outward once more. This time, turning to the right or left. Eventually, you do hear another click pushing inwards. To be clear, it was 4 to the left. You eventually hear another grinding sound as the stone doorway seems to begin more grinding noises. A third setup, though, this time 5 to the right, and clicking in once more, the door opens.
Voila! What
Does
is
anything
inside the
happen
door?
with the main tomb?
Not yet.
Okay.
You can see inside this mausoleum there are 3 sarcophagi with a few burial urns.
I will. Is it dark inside?
Yes. I mean, you have some
All right.
light pouring in from outside because it's midday, but yeah.
But largely dark. Okay. I will carefully step down. You said it's like stairs down, yeah?
It's a couple steps, but yeah.
Couple steps. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to inspect the burial urns for markings, like hieroglyphs, anything like that.
All right, go ahead and roll me a investigation check.
Back to rolling bad. 7.
Unfortunately, any symbology on these urns and other burial apparatuses seem to be relatively long since gone, whether through its age or some other means. You don't notice
What
anything.
the hell, dice bot?
Anything that you're doing up there, John, while that's going on?
So, well, am I able to see in here?
Do you have dark vision?
I have a Devil's Sight, which is 150 feet of that
then
stuff.
yes, you can see just fine in there.
Wonderful. What is there? Same deal as over there?
Same
or-
deal. 3 sarcophagi, a bunch of urns, and other burial, objects.
Does it look like there's a way to open up the door from this side?
No.
No. Okay. Then I won't be doing anything. And so, I guess I'll try to beat the history man if I can. I'm allowed to look at runes and stuff, like anything on the wall and such.
Sure. Roll me investigation.
Cool. No.
Yeah, this place is devoid of any symbology.
Yeah, it's this is a tomb. Why are we bothering with this again? I'm not sure. Well, he came, he saw, he used a trick that he's had since the dawn of time. He's just gonna kind of float back out.
Is there any switches or anything? Anything I can see? Anything hidden?
Roll me investigation. Jesus Christ, your dice are cursed.
Dude.
What the heck, sidekick?
No.
Hold on, I'm gonna use inspiration.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll the other one.
I swear. If you roll another 1.
It asks for blood sacrifice. It asks
There
for
we go.
blood sacrifice.
There we go.
Okay.
26 total.
Man.
Oh my god.
Looking around the sarcophagi, you do notice actually at this point in time, as you're beginning to look a bit deeper into the mausoleum, there are symbols within the mausoleums themselves, or within the tombs themselves, as well as some of the urns. However, the backmost tomb, there is the symbol of a sun. It is somewhat depressed, as you can see that it is something that you can maneuver like you did with the doorway.
Well, first I ask it what's wrong.
No, the tomb does not respond.
I can entirely imagine.
You also notice
in character going, "How's it going, buddy?"
the urns themselves seem to have some pretty ancient Calbeshian scripts upon them. This is the language before the modern day version of the common tug that is used here.
So it'd be like trying to read like Old English, or is it one step removed?
It'd be like
Like-
trying to read
Like Germanic?
close.
Okay.
It's not quite Old English. I would consider it. I think the terminology is English or something like that.
Like Anglo-Saxon?
Yeah, Anglo-Saxon. Yeah.
All right. Well, Paul,
Yes.
could you come here, please?
Sure. Where are you located?
The Sun Mausoleum.
Yeah. Western. Yep.
Okie dokie. What you need?
Well, you see, there are all these glyphs and such.
Mhm.
It's very old, and I can read some of it, and I'm hoping you can read some of it because you're also a studied person. And then we
Yes.
might have a whole language between the two of us.
Okay. I'm gonna activate my third eye ability for greater comprehension, which allows me to read any language.
Mm-hmm. All right. Within this chamber here, the symbols and the writings upon the urns and the tombs themselves seem to depict honorific titles to those dead. The urns themselves, which is a little weird, they depict body parts, akin to how the Egyptians buried their dead, with like some urns having certain organs and things like that, which is not a Calbeshian burial method. But which is exceedingly weird, though, is that these three tombs, all of which are, written down, and they have the words in Old Calbeshian, all of which are names of elves. Specifically, they are of the house of. Let me go grab this name for you real quick. Where's your face? Lost Fable. Families.
Gonna go out on a limb here and guess they were sun elves.
The show is furiously detailing all of this in his journal.
Is Ada an ancient ancestor of theirs? Well, are they an ancient ancestor of Ada's?
I'd hope not. I'd hope she's not an ancient ancestor of theirs.
All right.
Timey-wimey shit. We don't know.
The surname of these figures appears to be the surname of Aranasti. Or Aranesti would be more better way to pronounce it, but yeah. Let's see, how to spell it again? Handouts.
Is that a sun elf name?
You could roll me a history check to find that out.
Well, I'm asking for the people who are actually there reading it.
Yeah.
I'll make a history check.
I'll help.
How do I do advantage in map tools?
2d20 d1.
Okay.
Yep. You're rolling 2 dice and you're dropping the lowest.
Wow.
Man, that's
18.
10d1. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Plus 10d1.
I mean,
Plus
that's
10,
still 10.
Drop
so...
1,
Okay.
right?
I see. Oh. No. No. I see the issue here. You need to do 2d20 d1 plus 10.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you're basically saying roll a 10, dropping 1. So yeah. All right.
There we go. That's a bit better.
There we go. All right.
21.
21. I don't know what Ada is rolling for. But with a 21, you're muted if you're talking, by the way, JC.
I just found it neat, so I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to join in the
You
rolling.
wanted to test it. Excellent. With the 21, looking over the name and kind of like reading through it, looking back on some of your studies, especially since you've dealt with elves in the past, considering your father married one. This name is definitely sun elf in nature. Although it seems to have some ties to the moon elves, because most of the moon elves seem to have surnames tied to the lunar cycle. This one, however, seems to be tied to a solar cycle.
Okay.
At least in Elvish, which you can read because eyes, third eye, and all that.
So the question is, if I get a third eye surgically implanted into my forehead, will I be able to read all languages?
Alternatively, just take 2 warlock levels.
This is true. You would. Hey, just sell your soul. I know a great guy.
I mean, ask your dad if you can become a warlock for him.
Exactly. Just be like, hey,
Hey, Dad. Can I take
You got
warlock
any-
levels?
You got any spare contracts lying around?
this is pretty much Dad. Can I work for you?
Is there anything else in this mausoleum?
There's the sun symbol upon the furthest tomb. There's the names Aranesti, and nothing else immediately obvious.
Okie dokie.
Oh, that's not quite what I was hoping for.
That's just
May
architecture. There's not actually a room there.
Okay.
I'll
May
go
I,
to the sun at the
try
back of the
again?
room and
Hey, Ada's gonna look inside
All right.
with their very high passive perception. Let's go.
While you're doing that, you wanted to do something, John?
I wanted to see if I'm allowed to try investigating more.
Sure. Roll me an investigation check. Yeah, unfortunately, this mausoleum is just empty of anything of a note. It's just sad.
Thing is, can I check if the bodies are still like even in the
You can't.
tombs?
You will have to lift open the lid.
So there's
Aren't
no
you still
crack.
gaseous?
I am still gaseous, which is why I am asking.
Unfortunately, the tombs are sealed shut. There's
Okay.
no cracks within them.
Well, I'm gonna stay gaseous for the time being because I'm not allowed to interact with things in gaseous form.
I'd feel if your spell ends and you're just stuck in there.
I'll just have to vibe out, smoke a cigar for an hour, and I'll be out. And I'll be out in a jiffy.
Alright.
On the king's tomb, what are those 2 archways at the top?
That seems to be a higher partition of the tomb itself. You'd have to fly up specifically, but it leads to another room. It's a 2-story building.
Can you walk in, or are they closed with doors?
Those are just archways. It's open.
Okay. Renee is going to fly up there, and can you see down into the lower floor from up there, or no?
There's not any breakage in that area, so it is sealed. There's no way to look into the lower floor from this upper area, but you can see that there is a symbol of a sun, a dagger, and a crown. The sun seems to be the backdrop with the dagger piercing through it. The crown is surrounding both.
King just wasn't a pretentious name.
This is the fucking sun swords.
Is there anything, or like tombs on this upper level, or?
There are a few sarcophagi, but nothing that seems to be prominent. It's mostly just more of these, like these ones down here.
Is there like a sealed off stairwell on that top floor?
There is a
That
sealed off stairwell, yes.
Okay.
You can see that
she's
there are
gonna-
markings within the ground that indicate that there is... It's like looking at Skyrim and looking like that's obviously a secret door. It's one of those.
She's gonna look and see if there's any way to open it.
Roll me investigation.
With my favorite cantrip outside prestidigitation, guidance.
It is a solid cantrip.
Okay, sidekick.
Well,
What's going
you have
on,
been
buddy?
cursed as well, so unfortunately, yeah, there's no way to open that you're aware of.
Is there any writing on the sarcophagi?
Give me another investigation.
$22.
Looks like Dice Main is the way to go for tonight. Looking around through the sarcophagi up here, they all seem to depict half names. Like not the full name is listed there. 1 second.
Have they been like struck out, or they just aren't written there in the first place?
They're written there. They're not struck out either. It's more of like the the sarcophagi where the name were depicted has been chipped or eroded over time. So it's just, not really there. What was I looking for?
Does stuff be old?
Yeah, stuff be old.
It
But
really did.
the king's name presumably was very deliberate, obviously chipped out,
Yes.
right?
The names on one of them is Leard, and then it's chipped away. The name on the other two would be, it's shipped out in like this, so like that. Not full number of characters. It's just, so you know which direction what's left. And then the last tomb had the name of
But 3 tombs, you say? Like
3
the
tombs.
Okay.
And to be clear, the first one was like that. So it began as, and then continued.
And I'm guessing those fragments mean nothing to Renea.
I mean, you can roll me history, but you don't really have a high history bonus, so.
I do not.
No.
7.
You have no idea. All right.
Are there any urns in this one, or
A few.
just 3?
A few urns.
And Renea knows enough to know that's unusual, right?
That there's
For burial
urns.
practices? Yeah.
Well, the unusual bit with the ones over in the tomb here isn't that they're urns, it's that the urns are holding, per the symbology upon them, are holding organs and the like. Burial
Okay.
urns are fairly normal, oftentimes carrying like coins or offerings for the dead. Yeah, to have them hold organs, that's weird.
Okay.
Now,
Go ahead.
so Sage, I assume your puzzle here is gaseous form proof, and I can't just go through this big door.
Would you like to roll me a perception check to see if there's a crack?
Oh, I would love to roll you a perception check to see if there's a crack. I am going to use my inspiration. I've been holding on to this for years. It's been like a month.
Oh, yes.
I'm finally using it, folks.
Fighting a bunch
We've
of
burned-
undead and a necromancer. No one wants to use inspiration then, but when you find a secret door,
Door?
oh boy.
Dude, secret doors, gaseous form. I've got an hour of this, man.
Yep.
21.
All right.
Give me the sauce.
With a 21, you can see that. Well, there was obviously no intention for there to be a crack within this door. Over time and through some like erosion and some damage, there is a crack within the upper right corner of the door that one who is gaseous could fit through.
Whoosh.
All right. Now this building does not have an interior image. I know that for a fact.
Okay. Damn.
That said, as you whoosh through, the chamber itself is dark, but you can see because you have devil sight. It's very simple. There's not really too much to this chamber itself. There is 2 candelabra, both filled with candles, although they are unlit. Then there is a single sarcophagus within the center of the chamber. It is lid closed. It looks fairly simplistic, simple stonework. There's not even any carvings with atop it, so that like ones down here where they have like depictions of people. It doesn't have anything like that. Basically, take this down here, remove the person from it,
Okay.
and that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Does it look like it was carved that way, or like it was damaged that way?
Well, I'm first going to roll investigation, mainly to see, is there any mechanism to open up something? I'm looking for mechanisms, because right now, while I want to turn corporeal again so I can fuck with things, if I do that, I'm stuck in here for an hour because I don't think. Yeah, we never really rested. So.
It's true.
Uh.
Roll me investigation then.
Yes. Just.
Is there anything on top of the mausoleum, or is it just flat stone?
13.
It's flat stone. Would you like to add anything to that roll? I am ready. Give me your destiny.
Jury of the rest of the campaign. Thoughts? Is this worth giving Sage more power?
Here's an excuse not to give me it.
Okay.
You guys have currently used exactly 69 destiny points.
Okay, I ain't doing shit.
Nice.
You got me there, bud. I ain't.
I want you to use it, but you guys are also at 69. I just noticed. So.
I see what you're doing there, buddy. You're trying to make me to break the funny number. No. JC has the highest likelihood of doing that. I ain't gonna be it. Until somebody else uses one, you have my vow. I ain't using destiny. I can't just break the funny number. Okay, so no, we'll stick with 13.
All right, with a 13, looking over the tomb, unfortunately, you don't seem to notice anything within this chamber that would function as a lever or as a way to maneuver to find any secrets within this chamber. Yeah, just very simplistic chamber.
Okay.
Is there like a mural or anything in there?
Nope. I mean, if there were, then it's long since gone. But nothing that you guys can, or that John can see. You're not up there, or not in there.
So much for my hopes of finding a mural with lost histories.
I'm gonna give myself another wisdom check to see if I'm like, do I see it as worth it to drop corporealness to be able to physically fuck with things? Giving that like a DC 14 just arbitrarily. Okay, well, sidekick wants me dead. John will drop concentration on Gaseous while in there.
All right. Before we get back to you, we're gonna go down
Okay.
southwest.
That's not concerning.
All
There were
right.
pressure plates.
So, you guys, Ada, Paul, Deshow, and Floof, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna try to do the
Peek
Sorry.
in with 31 passive perception.
Gotcha. Ada, you would
I
notice.
feel like what I'm doing is just hovering in the back.
Excellent. You would notice the same general concepts. Not that they are what they mean, but there's some strange languages within the tombs and all that. You'd also notice the symbol, which is now being fucked with by Deshow. Roll me an investigation to figure out the puzzle.
to quote fuck with it.
If he's fucking fit, I'm gonna give him guidance, and then I'm gonna walk back this way.
Excellent.
And then 25.
25. All right. Fucking with a puzzle, turning it left 4 times, right 5 times, and then left again twice. You hear a resounding click and the sounds of grinding stone, and then a strange popping sound.
Define strange popping.
I wouldn't say like popcorn, because that's way too many pops, but just like one single pop of popcorn kernel.
Huh.
As you do this, though, the symbol upon the tomb glows. Outside of this tomb, Renea, you notice the symbol of the sun within the top floor begins to glow. John, as your form takes on corporeal form, you notice that the doorway out, which is solid stone, a symbol of a sun begins to glow. And on the tomb, which was previously mundane, a symbol of a sun begins to glow. It is no longer dark within the chamber that you're in. It is now dimly lit.
Well, that's nice. John will light the candles for shits and giggles.
All right, is now
Uh,
decently lit.
and I won't fuck with the sarcophagus, but I'll make another, if I may, another investigation. Now more poking around at things, trying to brush off some dust here and there.
You are corporeal now, so you can do so.
Can John moving around inside there?
Roll me a perception check. You got some pretty thick stone in between you, so you might not hear it.
That's an 18.
21.
You can hear the movements of John within there, yeah. There's something within that chamber. With an 18, as you're looking around the chamber, John, you notice that there is a small lip beneath the sarcophagus itself. There's something beneath it.
This thing moves. Probably. Well.
Also, what's your passive perception? 3, never mind.
Yeah, no, 3. You better believe. Well, that's good to know.
Is that only, or is that all your perceptions, or is that not? This is sound based, so.
Oh, sound based. Yeah, no. That's all my perception, since I'm hearing impaired and I'm sight
Excellent.
impaired
All right.
passively.
So yeah, then that is a indeed no gain from that passive.
That's fine. Honestly, my actual perception check should probably be lower logistically, but
Renee is going to ask the NPCs to move up towards that central mausoleum. You know, at least out of the lower graveyard.
You know, we're in a graveyard, right? This is not exactly a place that's pleasant towards living.
Which is why I want you closer.
Deeper into the okay.
Oh.
It'll be all right. If any dead show up, I'll stop them. Right. You know, with magic.
3 members of the party just had a character going, oh.
And then she's going to summon Minerva to her, and then summon Minerva outside the tomb and have Minerva go inside the tomb. Since that's faster than having Minerva fly over.
Gotcha.
I assume that she's still, like, stealthed.
Once she sees you, she'll drop stealth.
Alright, suddenly a ball of light pops into the tomb.
You know, I'm gonna make her have to actually, like, make herself known to John. He is searching a room. He has 3 passive.
That's fair. It's totally fair. While you're searching the chamber, though, you guys seem to have activated something down to the southwestern tomb. What would you like to do?
In this tomb?
Yeah, the sun symbol is now glowing, and there's a popping sound as well as the sound of stone grinding upon stone. So you did something.
Can I make an investigation check to determine the source of all that?
Sure.
Sounds like you did it.
22.
22. Whatever Deshow did with that symbol there, that was definitely the source, but you believe this tomb itself is not an actual tomb, it is a false tomb. Mechanisms that control it are within.
Deshow, I think this tomb is a false tomb.
Well, let's, I don't normally do this, but just to be sure, and I'm going to test the lid of the sarcophagus.
It's pretty solid. If you want to lift it, you're going to have to roll me an athletics check.
Get on the other side of this, would you?
Sure.
Turns out it's not a lid, it's a solid piece of stone.
That's what I'm testing.
Hey, man.
Who leans in curiously?
As far as I know, the door to
17.
the knife one is a solid piece of stone.
Right. And what is your athletics since you're helping, Paul?
14.
All right. With the help of Paul, you're able to begin to lift at the lid. This begins to make a slight popping sound as it is released from the tomb itself. I need both of you to roll me a Constitution saving throw as the lid is removed from its place. The pressurized interior begins to let loose a thick cloud of green dust.
Should have seen this
Oops.
coming.
The one
We really should
investigation
have.
roll you didn't make. Check for traps.
I rolled an 8.
Well,
Hold on.
you want double insanity?
12.
It's mummy rot, isn't it?
Man, can you imagine if John tried to crack open a sarcophagus lid in the sealed tomb?
Yeah, I feel like that place is super trapped until you turn the buttons.
Well, I was more talking about, like, the knife tomb, but also that's assuming that I would ever be able to actually lift a lid. John probably couldn't even open a pickle jar.
I find that that's more a matter of willpower than a matter of physical strength.
This is true.
And Mage Hand can't feel pain, so...
Exactly.
Pickle jars are a Constitution saving throw, not a Strength saving throw.
Of course.
All right, then. You have a 12?
Yes.
Excellent.
Shame.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, both of you begin coughing and hacking up a storm as you are barely able to breathe. Both of you suffer a level of exhaustion immediately. And I'm going to add onto your tokens a symbol. You don't need to worry about this symbol, but you have this symbol.
Yes.
I'm gonna run out of the mausoleum huffing and puffing.
Yeah, to show also as well.
Excellent.
So how'd that go?
Not well.
Well, the dagger one is on the other side of the graveyard from us if we want to go figure out what's in that.
Sure, Destroy, you want to help me check it out?
By all means.
Now that you have disadvantage and you need help to get a flat roll.
Ada will give him guidance when we get over there.
Where are we going?
All right.
The dagger place.
I can't believe you guys forgot to roll for traps.
I don't think it was a trap as much, just like old shit in there just went poof.
Honestly, same.
Yeah.
Old shit goes poof and gives you a level of exhaustion instantly.
Yes!
Can't really
Dude,
see
decompressing
inside,
bodies, decomposing
stone.
bodies release a lot of bad stuff.
Like,
It was also a fake tomb. It was probably trapped.
yeah, but like,
Oh, that's what we were testing.
bodies
Did I happen
are
to
gross.
catch if there was a body in the sarcophagus we opened?
There was no body in there. Ada wasn't really inside, so her passive perception wouldn't have aided, but it seemed to have been gears.
I was at the door.
Yeah, but it's an object. You have to see inside it. You're way over here.
Okay.
You can't really see inside.
You didn't
Sight
Wait,
hear
you said
any body noises from
Yeah.
inside.
You said it seemed to be what? Gears?
Gears.
Okay.
Mechanics that seem to have controlled whatever thing that you could fiddled with the symbol.
As Renea sees you guys walk past, she'll point out the fact that the main tomb, the sun is now glowing. Is the
Look
outer
at
door
that.
glowing,
Ugh.
or just the one on the ceiling?
Let's see, Paul and to show contracted. All right, there we go. I have my notes. I just need to make sure that was in there so I can keep a track on it. All right. This one you can see that there is, the symbol of a dagger upon it, all that good stuff. It's there in front of you.
I'm gonna just reach for the dagger symbol, like the sun symbol was.
All right. Well, it does seem to be able to be fiddled with. You're free to roll an investigation check to try to get past the riddle. What is
Can I help
John
him?
doing? Yes, you can.
And that is with guidance.
Well, so I now know that there's a little lip underneath
Mhm.
the main king's, like this big.
And you have
sarcophagus.
advantage.
But also exhaustion. So,
Um,
Oh,
That's not-
right.
24 total.
I have 8 strength, so there's no way I'm pushing it ever in my life.
Open.
Hmm?
I was just letting them know that they succeeded in the door. It's
Okay.
open.
It was that easy. And if I had kept gaseous form, that would have been really good right now. John just goes to the next map.
Minerva will ask you if you found anything interesting.
What? Howdy, Minerva.
Renea heard you moving outside
Yes. Well,
and
found-
sent me in to see what was moving in here.
Well, it's just me. I finally got to use a fun trick. It is one of my favorites. In the way of interesting things, the main sarcophagus here, he'll again kind of tap it with his boot. There's a lip right underneath it. I'm presuming it's movable. I also cannot physically move it. I ain't even going to try. But I see y'all are fiddling with something. I see motions towards the glowing sun. So, I'm either stuck in here for like an hour, if I just kind of like rest, or y'all can figure out the actual way this was intended to be cracked open
I think
when
that's
not
what the
cheated
show
by
and
magic.
Paul are doing. Minerva's going to do an investigation with guidance, because guidance is a touch spell, so I can cast it through my familiar.
Cool.
So I will cast guidance on Minerva. She's going to do a little bit of investigating herself.
How are you investigating?
Well, would it be perception instead?
How is she investigating?
Looking around, seeing if there's anything unusual, that sort of thing.
If you're just looking around, that'd be perception. If you're actively
Okay.
trying to, feel around, trying to look for anything secret, that'd be investigation.
That's an 8 then, because she's got one more perception than investigation.
Right. With an 8, the chamber is fairly simplistic. Just got a tomb, a few urns, a doorway that it's still closed, but it has a glowing symbol upon it. Yeah, fairly simple.
John will give one more investigation now, like, looking around, like, I assume they're, like, urns and nonsense in here, or is it fairly clean? Harford?
It's fairly clean, but there are a few urns.
Okay. John will look around the urns and on the side of the sarcophagus one last time. Then after that, he's just going to probably sit up on top of these.
Can I cast
sarcophagus
guidance on John, or is he doing that at the same time Minerva's looking? So I don't have the chance to cast guidance on him.
That's up to John.
Logistically, I'm just thinking about this, how a normal person would do it. They wouldn't just stand and watch you watching around. He'd probably get back to work.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
All right, no guidance for John.
As much as I'd like it, humans don't do that. 13. Probably nothing special.
All right. 13, looking around the chamber. Doesn't seem to have anything of note. All the urns seem to have no writing upon them. They're all fairly old. Any writings upon them or any paintings on them, long since eroded.
Well, John's gonna take a seat up on the sarcophagus, pull out a cigar, light it, and wait for the others to unlock the door.
All right. Back out to the east. How you guys doing? You have opened the door successfully.
Renea will quickly caution John to everything in here is probably super trapped, so be careful. And then she's gonna go back and hang out with the NPCs instead of Minerva.
And he'll just tip his hat at the ball.
Well, after you, I suppose.
All right. Is it the same setup as the other one, essentially?
Yep. The symbols upon the urns are not the same, though.
Naturally.
Mhm.
Paul, is your third eye still going?
Yes,
Could
Right.
you take a look at those?
indeed I can.
I'll go to the symbol in the back.
The urns here, they don't seem to have any symbology of, like, canopic means. They're not designed like the previous one where they were used to hold the organs of the dead. These ones seem to be a bit more of a Calbaean burial practice, holding offerings to bring along with them into the afterlife, essentially. So like coin, gems, things like that, seemingly as a belongings chest for those who have passed. So they perhaps might be able to buy their way across the river Styx into the afterlife. Or, as you guys would know it, not the river Styx, because that's more of a Hestia thing, the River of Souls.
Wow. Yeah, Sidekick is being so mean today. But,
Yeah.
Well,
and
someone's getting coal in their stocking. Sidekick.
all right, well, I'm going to try at the dagger in the back.
Alright, trying out the dagger in the back. That is another investigation check.
I will assist.
While you're
Thank
doing
you.
that, the names upon these two tombs, they are... You don't really have too much to them. They're for like the other names, they have been, for the most part, eroded or scratched off or some other means that they're not really fully there. They are Calbaean names, though. So you're looking at a lot of... I wouldn't quite say... like... British names or anything like that. A bit more of like... what's the best culture that would work for this name scheme I have for Calbaesh?
Gaelic?
Close. I'm gonna say Gaelic with hints of Germanic into it.
Fun. I got a 14.
All right, with a 14, you try to fiddle around with the device, twisting it 3 times to the left, and you think you hear a click. And as you begin to push it inwards, make me a dexterity saving throw.
You
Oh,
added,
Lord. Well, we're exhausted, so
you added guidance, right?
not this time.
Does the disadvantage apply to saves?
No, that's at
no,
level
Does
3.
have guidance.
Did you say you were giving guidance but were muted?
Most likely. Because I've been chilling here waiting for like rolls to about start happening and be like, guidance. That's all Ada's doing right now.
Would guidance make up the DC, Sage?
It could.
It could?
Mhm.
I'm going to try that first real quick then. 2,
Does
so
not make it
total of... Okay.
DC was 18.
Alright.
Dex save time.
Dex save. 21.
All right. You realize only just in time that the clicking sound that you heard was not because the button was right. You actually think that that was from like, the clicking sound of someone's foot tapping upon the stone. So you misheard. You then realize that you heard a clicking sound just moments after that as you clicked it in, as a metal spike begins to rise up from the symbol itself towards your hand. Luckily, you're able to push your hand off just in time to avoid the spike, but that was a very nasty looking spike covered in a green slime. As it shoots back into the symbol and closes.
Honestly, I'm
Ooh.
just impressed the mechanisms still work.
Wow. Glad I didn't stick myself on that. I'm
Okay.
gonna knock on the door.
You're knocking on stone. There is no response. At this
Is-
point, you guys
Is John not on the other side of it?
Oh, no, John's over here.
Ah,
That
different
would
one.
have been funny, but just wait a bit. I'll still get to my fucking punchline of just.
Yeah, you're
Oh.
technically right there at this point. At this point, though, the coughing fits you have been dealing with, whatever got in your lungs, seems to have faded. You are no longer exhausted.
Ah,
So they
What
were
about me?
poisoned.
Am I
so
still poisoned?
That state is still there. You do not know what it means.
Okay. Wait, do I still have exhaustion?
You do not. You are not exhausted anymore. No.
Okay, cool.
Paul, do we want to try again on this one?
More guidance.
Let me.
Touchy.
Well,
Brush his
So,
cheek.
it's a sarcophagus. It's a sarcophagus, right? That we're trying to open.
No, I'm trying to mess with the dagger symbol.
Yeah, which is how you open the other one.
Oh, okay. Sure. I'll
Could I
help.
could I position my hands around it when I go to press in so that it doesn't introduce my palm to a spike? Or is the spike like too big?
The spike would be too big. You might.
Okay.
I might give you advantage if you do that. Depending
All
on
right,
how you
I'm
do
gonna-
it, but yeah.
I'm gonna like put my fingers on the edge of the symbol while I'm rotating it, and then when I go to push in, I'll push in with my fingertips.
All right. I will give you advantage. However, if you fail the dex save, if you do activate it again, there's a chance you will lose some fingers.
All right, fair enough. 26.
All right.
And just for fun,
Okay.
Not a care in the world. You begin listening this time for
28
real
total.
and turning it left and right, getting the right number. It was in fact 6 to the left, and then 2 to the right, and then 3 more to the right.
Ah,
Pushing it in, the symbol begins to glow. Sound of grinding stone and a faint popping sound. Within the chamber that John lies in, the dagger begins to glow. You then see a crown circling around the 2 symbols here, and the door begins to slide open. The sarcophagus likewise has the dagger begin to glow upon it, and it slides backwards, revealing a stairwell down.
So I'm just sitting on it now, just kind of hovering over the stairwell. Still just smoking my cigar. Well,
Is
what
there
can I do?
anything visible down the stairwell that Minerva can see?
It goes down pretty deep, out of dark vision range.
All right, even with her 120.
It's not because of the distance; it's because of the angle. So eventually, it will.
Ah, okay.
well,
Should we gather the group before we go down?
seems to me, yes. Is the
Ada's
staircase
gonna
in
look at
the...
wisp.
The staircase
Yeah.
is in the main mausoleum.
So we don't
These-
see it.
Yeah, you guys are just in the 2 locking mechanisms for the staircase and the door. So that is the main entrance to the dungeon.
All right. Walk back out into the main yard.
All right, as you walk out of the mausoleum here, the wisps, the light wisps, will begin to float around you, forming the symbol of a skull.
That was
That's you.
Mason sneezing, not the show.
Are you
Um,
saying that death lies ahead?
Do you say that in character?
Yeah.
They will shift into that of a crown. They will then shift into that of a gauntlet. They will then shift into that of a crown, a serpent surrounding the crown, and at last they will shift into a skull with the crown kind of slowly floating down upon the head of the crown.
There's a dead person who is the king that we have to fight.
Do you say that in character?
Yes.
They look at you, and they look at your body shape and begin like floating around you, and like where your arms are, and then where your hands would be, they kind of just like float upwards. So they kind
I
of like
follow them
trace.
with my hand.
Yeah, they try to trace your arm and do that. As you follow them, you make a shrugging motion.
Oh,
I'm guessing yes. Well, thank you for the information.
They rise up, a hand motion towards your head, as if you're
Okay.
Syrik.
Yeah. And still, I guess I'll follow along.
Do you want the king's crown? Is that what you're on about?
They will make the symbol of a sun.
We learned that sun means yes, right?
They will-
Asks the wisp.
They will make a sun, and then they will make a half sun.
Yeah, sometimes got it, kinda.
All right, cool.
You know what? There might
Look,
be.
they don't understand
something
common,
important.
or at least how to make symbols. They don't know how to write common.
That's funny. Well, with Theta's Jack passive, literally as soon as you get to the door, you would see John just sitting on this sarcophagus over a staircase, smoking his cigar.
As you guys approach this point, Alexander will speak up. So that door just opened. I take it you guys are going in.
Possibly. I didn't expect it to be this involved, and it might be safer to take you back to town first.
I vote on that plan.
Tiana, do you know anything about what this place is, or what that king whose name has been struck out is?
Some graveyard of the war past. I don't know exactly what it's about. History wasn't really my specialty.
The show walks over at about this point in the conversation.
Yeah,
Well,
she only has Arcana proficiency.
Okay, so
the wisp told me we have to fight something down there.
Yeah, it might be for the best to come back after we've delivered
Ixon can do that.
him to town.
Ixon can drop him off at the lumber camp.
You mean the lumber camp that's...
Completely destroyed? That one?
The one
Yeah,
that we
it's
blew a
destroyed.
roof off?
But he'd be able to walk back from town from there.
Or
Heck.
can drop him off at town and not risk it.
There is also a certain inn on the road, but I can't say that because I'm all the way over here.
Ah, yes. In my genius intellect as Paul, the smart man, I remember an inn that we could drop him off at.
First, last name, Paul Smartman. Paul Smartman.
I mean,
Sailorman?
I can certainly make my way back from the inn.
Oh, this is...
Ixon can drop him off, collect the payment, and come back. Should take him. How long should it take him?
To the world map.
Does Ixon count as a ranger?
This is completely unrelated. However, Paul, right after you said that, I was swiping through the notifications on my phone real quick, and I have a Postmates notification that just says use code Paul to redeem.
What? Wait.
What
Yeah.
pace is Ixon going at?
He'd be going fast.
All right.
He'd be
First time
following
flyers.
the
Hold on tight.
river to the inn.
First time flyers, buckle up.
Because Ixon gets to go as the crow flies, because he flies.
What's Ixon's movement speed?
70.
70. So if Minerva dashes, she can keep up with him. And Minerva's immune to exhaustion, so Renea will send Minerva with Ixon. So that way we have a line of communication with. Ixen.
Wait, you're just okay. It will take you 2 hours to fly to the inn. If you're following the river, like you said, and then going to the inn from there.
I don't picture it to be any faster. Just make a straight line with it.
Like,
I mean, straight line's basically following the river
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, it changes it by like 0.5 miles. So like 10 minutes at most.
Cool. So, yeah, that's just what Ixen's gonna do.
All right. Well, Ixen flies off.
Renee will
Wait,
send
I'm gonna see
Minerva.
if there's any, like, buffs I'm going to give him before he leaves,
All right.
just in case.
So I'm gonna ride the dragon then.
Yeah.
Excellent. I really wanted to do that. I was hoping you'd offer. He'll cautiously pat Ixen.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give Ixen a tier 3 food token. Tier 2. I only have tier 2.
All right.
So there's 2 more of those. Ixen's gonna go ahead and get the wisdom buff to check on anything that is on his way. And where is the graveyard? I forgot what other bonuses there are, so I need to click the button so I can read them.
Forlorn graveyard.
Ooh.
Oh,
Probably the...
that's weird. 1 second. There you go. Those are the proper macros. I thought I updated this. I did not. Apparently,
Wait, what? What macros?
in the campaign frame, they're the new version of macros.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I was just clicking the... Okay, so yeah. Plus 5 move speed and adventure on wisdom checks.
Very good. Very good.
So we have 75 now.
All right. Well, still take him 2 hours to get to the Hero's Hope Inn, all that good stuff. That's what you're wanting to do? You're wanting to brag the Alexander and Tiana that way?
And then he is going to fly back.
All right. And what would the party like to do while they are doing this?
We can lay
Very,
the dead
very
to
detailed
rest.
sketching of statues and things of significance around.
How long is this taking exactly?
This will
Be
take
a
4
total of
hours.
4-hour round trip.
4 hours. Okay, well, the first hour is me taking a long rest.
You mean short?
Yes.
I would also like to take a short rest.
All right. Well,
Short rest for everybody.
So I'm just gonna hang out in here, I guess.
I guess I'll stay at the inn until then. She'll cautiously hop on. Boop. And I'll be at town, away from this place. Hop.
Floop
then
is going to
Or
hand her a little bit of money to get her a room so that we can find her.
Thank you. Just give a nod and take the coin. All right. And off they go to the land of nowhere. I'm gonna just make the NPC tokens not visible.
Here's hoping there's some really old wine
And then
or something.
Minerva's gonna go with them, so we have
All right. So
the old walkie-talkie.
okay,
So-
since
The
we're
old
gonna be resting anyway,
walkie-talkie.
does anyone have any buffs they want to give them before they leave?
I don't have anything that lasts for longer than 10 minutes, so
I can
no.
give them the blessing of the yeehaw, which is fake and made up on the spot. So no.
Oh wait, I have enhanced ability prepared today.
The blessing of the yeehaw. That would have been really handy.
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have been amazing.
Doesn't
I'll give.
it-
It's an
the
hour.
cat one give a bonus to speed?
I don't think Cat's agility gives a bonus to speed. Let me check.
No, it
Enhanced
gives
ability.
falling down.
Falling damage reduction.
I mean, he's going to be flying on a dragon, so might be useful.
Might be good for him. It
Yeah,
is-
I have a warlock spell slot available. I'll give Cat's grace to the dude.
all right. Very good,
She's
very
a
good.
first time flyer.
So, as they exit out of the map, traveling to the northward, pretty much just mostly north, it is exactly 4 hours, so that is an encounter check along the way. Let's see if something happens to them.
Well, if it happens during the last 2 hours, it's just Ixon.
True.
Mhm.
And Ixon's thing is he just keeps going.
Gotcha.
Unless it's like damsel in distress.
Gotcha. All right. Traveling along. For those in camp, what are you guys wanting to do for 4 hours?
For 4 whole hours.
I know 1 hour is being taken up by a short rest.
Yeah, so for 3 whole hours.
Very detailed sketching of statues, tombstones, etc.
Good stuff.
Especially the mausoleums that had the mechanisms in them, and if all the gas has faded out of the sun.
Yeah, we
Did
need
you
to go.
mention that you had the weird poison gas to Renea?
Oh yeah, I'll mention that.
I'm
so,
sad that
but
nobody commented on John just hanging out in the tomb.
Yeah, we have a lot of time. So like in the last 2 hours, Ada's gonna start working on a actual good meal before we go inside.
All right.
Do we have a song of rest during the short rest?
I can do that.
Perfect.
Which is just Floof just purring at everybody.
Yep, she will sing you the song
It
for
is.
people.
Is that just a D6 or has that gone up?
Are you full bard, Floofster?
Let me double check.
They
I think
are
you're
Bard
Rogue
6
3.
for Rogue.
Oh, 6-4.
Bard 6. All right. No, they
That is-
have a D6 still. So, level 9s when they get D8.
John is gonna. I don't have anything in mind right now, so I'm just asking if I kind of do just sort of generic sort of tinker like blueprint sketching. I want to start making more contraptions.
Sure.
Cool.
But yes.
Would I need to make a check to very, very meticulously detail the mechanisms from the sarcophagus?
Yes. You would need to give me a. What tools do you have again?
On hand?
Or proficiencies, I mean.
Oh, proficiencies? Actually, none.
Okay. In that case, since you do have the archaeologist background, you can roll me a intelligence plus proficiency.
Cool. Wonderful, thank you.
You can roll basically your archaeology lore.
I assume I
can
just roll a tinker check.
Tinker Tech would be intelligence. Tinker
Okay.
tools.
25.
Plus proficiency.
All right, with a 25, you make some pretty detailed sketches of what you encountered with the mechanism. I'm assuming you're doing this with the sun one, not the dagger.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Because that's the one where the sarcophagus is open.
Yep. So, yep. Luckily, you don't have to worry about opening it again and causing poof. Inside, you can
Poof of the poof.
copy over the gears, which look to be pretty. They're definitely archaic in terms of how Aetherstorm handles this sort of mechanisms, but surprisingly, they are well made. They don't look rusted or anything like that. They look to be in decent quality.
Can I get a glean on what type of material they are?
With a 25, that was your painting check. You'd have to roll me a Mason's Tools check to figure that out. Or sorry, not Mason's Tools.
Blacksmiths?
Blacksmiths, yes. Smith's tools are the metal stuff.
So just intelligence, yeah?
Yep, just intelligence.
18.
All right. With an 18, let me go grab the name of this because it's in the book. Where are you?
Ooh, it's a fancy metal.
The gears themselves seem to be made from. Is it this one that's anti-rusting? No. It's that one. Okay, I thought it was one of the A's, which I was correct in. All right. The metal itself seems to be aurorum. You know.
Aurorum.
Yes, indeed. You know that aurorum is a luminous steel-like metal that seems to gleam with hues of pink and indigo. Strangely enough, the gleams within the metal here is fairly um, lackluster. It's not really vibrant, as is common for this type of metal. You believe that might just be due to age. Um, what you do know, though, is that aurorum, when formed into weapons, shields, or armor, or other mechanical things of some constructs, um, if they are ever destroyed, the real benefit of this material is if it is destroyed and they're held within place for a full minute, they reform.
Hmm.
So
Ooh.
if the item is destroyed, you can repair the item by spending a minute holding the item together. This might not restore any magical properties that were lost when it was destroyed, but it'll definitely restore the base item.
Fascinating.
Or keep them from falling apart over centuries.
Yep.
Speaking of the goopy poof inside the tomb, Renee is going to do a medicine check on Paul and Deshow, make sure they're okay.
All right, go ahead.
I give guidance.
You have
You're
guidance.
muted.
Excellent.
I heard it from Floofster's mic, so, but you are indeed muted.
That is 28 for Deshow.
All right.
And 19 for Paul.
All right. Well, you barely hit the DC for Paul, so that's good. You identify that they have a strange strand of a bit more of a lung-based disease. The common word for it, in terms of our knowledge, is tuberculosis. The strand, however, is something different. It seems to be tied to cemeteries and other areas filled with the dead. The version of this is tuberculosis rot. This one is much more deathly.
Does lesser restoration help this?
It can work. It is not a guarantee. You'll have to roll a cast level check. Not cast level check. A casting stat check, as if you're counterspelling something, against the DC of the disease.
Okay. Talking to Ada and Floof. And Paul and Deshow. Yeah, that's definitely not good. Do you know what a tuberculosis rot is?
Not in
I'm
detail,
guessing
but
bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
So
Typically associated with graveyards.
you know if they're left untreated. First off, it'll begin with chest pains, labored breathing. Eventually, they'll have some bloody coughs. They'll have high fever, chills, night sweats, loss of appetite, fatigue. With this specific strain, they will likely contract some form of anemia and eventually die.
She relays all that information.
Here's what I think we should do. I think we should head back to the town immediately, get paid, and then go back to Sonata. Sound good to everyone?
I can attempt to heal it with lesser restoration. There's a chance it'll work, a chance it might not.
I have got no stakes here. I'm perfectly fine if we just leave.
I think we should leave as well.
it
I
would
am also
pain
good
me
to go.
to leave any of this without exploring it more, but our health is our health, right?
We wait for Ixon to get back.
Okay, here. How about this? If you want to have a look around down there, you got dark vision, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I can turn you into a cloud of mist, and you can go have yourself a look-see.
All right.
Do you want me to try and heal
Just
the
start
disease
sneezing through
first?
Better's
Sure.
always better. Sooner's always better.
She'll look to Ada and Floofster. Any help you guys can give me would be appreciated.
She goes over and pats your back, purring, giving you bardic inspiration.
Hey!
And it'll give you the guidance.
All right, first one up, my racial cast of Lesser Restoration. Wait, that uses charisma. And if I use a warlock spell slot, that's also charisma. Guess I'm using my 2 cleric spell slots for this, for that +2.
Man.
The ones that don't come back. Your bardic inspiration is a d8.
Mhm.
Okay. First one is to show. 33.
Hey.
Can I get another round of bardic inspiration?
Yeah, sure.
Since that one is consumable, unlike guidance. 30.
All right.
Good work.
With both castings, you both feel not at all different, but I will remove that symbol from your tokens. It is cured.
Very cool.
Ha! It worked.
I'm gonna
Well,
remove
that'll
that
do.
marker from my notes now. You guys had tuberculosis.
You guys had tuberculosis. You can now put that on your adventuring resume.
Yep, just
Tuberculosis
go into
survivor.
adventure.
Tuberculosis survivor. It's the
Adventurer
green
bingo.
cross.
You
It's
guys
that-
have
the
tuberculosis
green
survivor
ribbon.
Bingo.
Is tuberculosis uncurable
Not
in
with
real
magic.
life?
Tuberculosis by itself, it does have some issues to it, but it's
You can take antibiotics for it.
Yeah, that's what I just read.
Or, pray to a god.
I'll pray to God. You guys feel better now, in terms of you were just told that you don't have disease anymore.
Excellent.
Well, I guess that'll do.
However, I don't think we should stick around here if this place is throwing out diseases willy-nilly.
I just
What
won't open any
graveyard?
more sarcophagi.
The thing is, though, I told you guys about Whisper, right?
I've
No,
heard
who's
bits and
Whisper?
pieces, mainly
Sure.
through
Who's
tears.
that, your cat?
She was a changeling, allied with, Soraya and all of them. She was the one causing trouble around Elder's Crest and my hometown and such. And when we last met, she was busy burning down a village. And I asked her why she was doing this, and she said because of her people were in caves and dying. So I asked her why we couldn't just, work together and help them peacefully. And she said it was our king's fault that we couldn't. I don't know
Well-
if she meant the current king of Calabash, like he did something, or like an old king. But there's king on that tomb, and his name has been scratched out.
Well, there's... Honestly, that just makes it more worthy of investigation in my mind.
I have no stake whether we go in or not, but to show if you do want to, I can give you an hour.
I'll take an hour.
Alright. John will walk over, he'll magic up a fake cigar.
Just
Take
shows
a
a little
draw.
bit confused for a moment.
He takes just a long, deep draw, and then he just blows a ring at you, and as it contacts on you, kind of spreads over you, and you have a gaseous form now. There you go. You won't be able to move too quick. Only about, you can just kind of float through the air a little bit, but you'll be able to make it through any cracks. Have fun. You can still die in it, though, so try not to get yourself killed. You also can't really interact with much.
The mist.
Do you
The
want
mist seems to
invisibility?
nod.
Speak. Uh,
The mist seems to nod.
okay. Yeah, you have a 10-foot fly speed. You can occupy the same space as things. You have advantage. You have resistance to non-magical damage. It has advantage on strength, dex, and con saving throws. It can pass through small holes.
Away I go.
All right.
Yeah. Target can't fall and remains hovering in the air even when stunned or otherwise incapacitated.
So, as you begin to float your way down the stairs, it travels along a decent amount, maybe about 2-4 minutes before you finally reach the bottom. You've been floating for a while. What's the fly speed of a gaseous
10.
cloud? 10. Okay.
10. Yeah,
Instead of 2 to 4,
it's low.
make that 6 to 12.
Damn.
6 to 12 minutes before you reach the bottom. As you reach the bottom, though, it opens up into a smaller little nook, or a larger little nook, but smaller in terms of the rest of the chamber, maybe about 15 feet across, which then opens up into a larger chamber, kind of like a very upside down and stubby bottomed L. So very thick line at the bottom with another line leading down in a southerly direction. There are multiple doors within this chamber and various sarcophagi lining the walls and what appears to be rubble straying about throughout the chamber. There seems to be some strange black mold upon 3 of the sarcophagi, and other than the doors lining the eastern hallway and down through the line that leads south on the western hallway of that little alcove, there's a set of double doors.
Mm-hmm. Are the double doors airtight?
Before I answer that, do you have dark vision?
Yep.
Okay, good. The doors do not appear to be airtight.
Then through them I go.
All right. Going through the doors there, that is room number 3, which means... All right. Passing through the doors, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
I have advantage on these, don't I?
Dexterity? Yes, you do. Strength, dex, and con.
Does it specify if there's any limitations to that bonus?
It has advantage on strength, dex, and con saving throws.
All right. So nothing about area effects going off.
That's 22.
All right. As you pass beyond the doors area, you see a red light begin to flash open as you pass through and into a smaller corridor. This smaller corridor is very long in nature, very thin, with a few alcoves on the eastern side and a door on the western side. At the southernmost end, there are a bunch of doors down there, and then a stairwell north of those doors leading eastward, and down more. However, the red light seemingly emanating from the area itself on the other side of the door begins to flash a vibrant red as you are engulfed in flame. Those from above hear a loud explosion and some dust begins to fall.
Yeah, that sounds
You
about
suffer
right.
33, reduced to half to 16 points of fire damage.
Okay, 16.
Floof is going to yell loudly, "Hey, you okay?"
And
Can't
stop.
even talk.
Okay. I have to roll a perception check real quick.
Hold on.
He's
Well,
probably
you go
fine.
ahead. I'm doing mental math.
Let's see, perception bonuses for these things is that.
Oh no, these
These
things.
things?
All right.
I don't like that.
He was
As you
blown up,
yell,
buddy.
Desho, roll me a perception check. Ada, you
Oh
already hear it
my.
because you have a 31 passive.
My kid.
If
Ada,
my
you already here.
token hasn't
19.
faded, then yes.
Desho and Ada, you both hear the sounds of stone grinding upon stone from down the stairs for Ada, or behind you from beyond the door you just passed through for Desho. at this point in time, simply because stuff is going to get spicy, I'm going to call the session here.
Sage.
Oh.
Sage.
You guys are about to go into a dungeon. I can't continue this point because
Sure
I
you
gotta. No, actually, we're running a makeup session for a game in about 45 minutes.
Boo.
Ooh.
Ditch the other guys.
Man's
Book-
cutting it close.
Yeah.
Sage, we're your favorites anyway. Just cancel.
We're your favorites anyways. Just cancel.
You'll do the makeup session for the makeup session later.
Yeah, you do the makeup set.
Wait, do we still want to run a one-shot next week then?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
cliffhanger this
can
for
wait.
2 weeks?
Yeah, this can wait.
Yes.
Guys,
This is normal.
Yes, we do.
I want the Grinch. I want how the Lich stole Christmas.
I don't want to.
Twenty.
I need.
I have never tried being level 20. I want to do that.
Yeah, like
Sage?
this is the
Yeah.
highest
Yeah.
level I've ever been in Dungeons and Dragons.
If you run the
Same.
Lich thing for other groups as well, and you want me to do the opening narration, just DM me and I'll do it. I'll just
Alright.
send you a voice recording of it.
Sounds good.
That sounds awesome. You did a good job
Yeah.
this time.
Hope you all
I
had
want to try
fun.
to record me saying that in
Um,
John's voice.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording here or the stream here. Hope you all had fun. We'll see you guys.
That was
next
very
week.
fun.